The screech of brakes pierced the winter evening as tires skidded on asphalt. A car door slammed hard enough to shake the garage windows. I dropped my wrench, oil splashing across the concrete floor as Evelyn burst through the side door. "Dad, you won't believe it." She paused mid-sentence, bouncing on her toes like she did at age 6 with a secret bubbling inside. I wiped my hands on the grease-stained rag, squinting under the harsh fluorescent light. The classic Harley I was restoring sat partially assembled. Engine components littered my workbench like scattered puzzle pieces. Cold January air leaked through the door cracks, blending motor oil scent with the sharp night chill. "What's got you so excited, honey?" I straightened up, feeling the usual ache from hours hunched over the bike. Her eyes gleamed brighter than the engagement ring flashing in the garage light. The diamond was larger than anything my mechanic's pay could buy. She shoved her phone at me, practically vibrating with joy. Landon proposed. "Look, Dad, check out this video." I set down the rag and took her phone carefully, my rough fingers smudging the screen. The clip showed a fancy restaurant I'd never afford. Crystal chandeliers, crisp white tablecloths, waiters in starched uniforms. Landon knelt by the table, his tailored suit impeccable, a Rolex shining on his wrist as he opened the ring box. He said, "We're marrying in May." Evelyn rushed on, words spilling over each other. "You'll be thrilled for me, Dad. He's everything I've ever wanted." I replayed the video, noticing how Landon barely glanced at the young server refilling their glasses. His wave was curt, almost annoyed by the disruption. In the background, I heard his voice muttering to someone off camera, the tone superior, though the words were unclear. "Of course I'm happy for you, Princess." I returned the phone, forcing a smile. "When do I meet his folks?" Evelyn's nervous laugh bounced off the garage walls. "Oh, they're vacationing in California for 3 months, but they'll return just before the wedding. Landon says we don't need to hold off planning for them." Traffic buzzed from the Chicago street outside the garage. Down the block, neighbors exchanged goodnights, voices carrying on the frosty air. I grabbed another wrench, needing to occupy my hands. "That's a quick schedule," I said evenly. "May isn't far off." "I know." She twirled with arms wide, as if hugging the universe. "Landon says when it's right, it's right. He hates dragging out engagements." The overhead light hummed, throwing stark shadows over the tools on my bench. I glanced at the video again as Evelyn held the phone. Studying Landon's face, something in his unguarded expression tightened my chest. "Show me that ring once more," I said, stepping nearer. She held out her hand, and I examined the diamond closely. It was perfect, costly, the sort of ring designed to dazzle rather than convey warmth. The design was sleek, chilly, missing the heart of the plain band I'd given her mother 30 years ago. "It's stunning, Evelyn. Truly stunning. He has excellent taste." She withdrew her hand, admiring how the stone captured the light. "He wants to take you to dinner tomorrow so you two can bond properly." I nodded, already picturing the suit in my closet, wondering if it would suit wherever Landon chose. The oil mark on my work shirt seemed bolder suddenly under the bright lights. "I'd enjoy that," I said, though unease crept up my spine like icy fingers. "Just us 3. "Yes. His parents won't return until right before the wedding. But that's ideal. You'll have his undivided focus." She kissed my cheek, her perfume mingling with the winter chill on her coat. As she headed to the house door from the garage, she stopped. "Dad, you'll adore him once you know him better. I swear." The door clicked shut, Leaving me with the half-built motorcycle and her words echoing, I picked up the wrench again, but my hands trembled faintly. The video replayed in my mind Landon's dismissive motion, the hurried timeline, the missing parents. I shut the garage door and went inside, but the chill in my chest wasn't from the January night. 3 hours later, I sat at my small home office desk, staring at the computer screen that took ages to start. Amelia's photo smiled from beside the monitor, her wedding gown white as new snow, eyes shining with the joy I'd seen in Evelyn's tonight. I touched the gold chain around my neck, where my wedding ring hung hidden under my shirt. The metal warmed from my skin, a steady reminder of vows made and honored. I need to know this guy. Amelia, I whispered to the picture, help me safeguard our girl. Facebook loaded sluggishly on my old machine. I found Landon's profile quickly. Landon Hale, investment advisor at Morrison Partners. His profile photo showed him against a blue Porsche, sunglasses mirroring the flash, his grin sharp as a blade. I scrolled his posts, each one knotting my stomach more. Finally met someone who gets the finer life. Moving forward. Posted 4 days ago with a pricey restaurant receipt. Old folks don't grasp today's success. Stuck in yesterday while we shape tomorrow. From last week. With likes from similar-minded friends. In comments on a buddy's construction promotion post, Landon wrote, "Congrats. Sort of. Some settle for average. Not me. Drive counts." My fists tightened as I read on. Image after image of luxury vehicles, costly watches, upscale eateries. But it wasn't the wealth that irked me. It was the mindset in every caption, every remark, the disdain for hands-on workers, builders, servers. A January post drew my eye, elevating my world one wise move at a time. Sometimes you must shed the old to claim the new. Comments overflowed with support from like-valued pals. One asked about his new girlfriend, and Landon replied, "She's ideal, innocent, trusting, and her dad's the type of basic guy who won't interfere." Basic guy. The phrase struck like a punch. I leaned back, the chair springs groaning under me. The tiny office felt tinier. Walls covered in family snapshots, Evelyn's graduation, her first place, birthdays where she blew candles as I cheered behind the lens. In each, just us two. No big family. No backup beyond what my hands provided. My military honors hung framed by the bookshelf, but I seldom glanced at them now. That life seemed remote, like another's. What counted was the vow to Amelia when Evelyn arrived. I'd shield our daughter from harm. I clicked more photos, Landon at galas, always angled to flaunt his suit over the charity. Work event shots where he stood aloof from co-workers. Posture implying superiority. In a team getaway pic, he captioned, "Connecting with key players. It's who you link with and how to leverage them." Leverage them. The term chilled my skin. The house settled quietly with familiar creaks. Through thin walls, Mrs. Ramirez next door watched her evening soap. Dramatic tunes drifting on the winter breeze. Everyday sounds of a regular area where folks watched out for one another. Held honest jobs. I pictured Evelyn's radiant face tonight. Her total trust in this man. She'd got her mother's knack for seeing good in people, believing love overcame all. I treasured that in her, and now it scared me. My reflection in the dark window, gray hair, lined face, hands scarred from decades of real work. All Landon seemed to scorn in my era. But those hands had comforted my daughter in tears, taught her biking, worked overtime for her schooling. I shut the laptop and sat in darkness briefly. Tomorrow, I'd meet Landon directly. I'd gauge if the man matched the haughty voice in these posts. I'd offer him a shot to disprove my doubts. But if he was, as these suggested, viewing my daughter as a trophy, a rung up his ladder, I'd find a way to guard her without shattering her belief in love. Amelia's photo seemed to agree in the faint street lamp glow. I touched the ring under my shirt again, gaining strength from the metal that had seen decades of loyalty. Tomorrow, I'd start uncovering what sort of man sought my daughter's hand. I awoke the next morning with Landon's social media still searing my thoughts. Sleep came in bits, broken by dreams of Amelia cautioning about men treating love like deals. The winter sun filtered weakly through my bedroom curtains, lighting the room where I'd raised Evelyn solo for 25 years. The phone rang as I spread peanut butter on toast, my routine unchanged for years. Evelyn's voice bubbled through, still buzzing from engagement bliss. "Dad, morning, sleep okay?" I stared at my ring all night. "Morning, honey, glad you're joyful." I set the knife down, steadying my voice. "So tonight, Landon booked the Golden Plate at 7:45. Know it, it's in downtown Chicago near Grant Park. He calls it a city secret." I knew the name from reviews I'd skimmed without cause. The spot where starters cost more than my weekly groceries. "Sounds upscale," I said, pondering if my good suit would fit. "Oh, it is. Landon has such sophisticated preferences. And Dad, his parents are still in California. They won't return until just before the wedding. But that's great because tonight's about you two connecting. 3 months in California, casual opulence hinting at big wealth. I recalled my saved vacation days spent on house fixes or local trips with Evelyn. When did they depart, I asked. Right after holidays, some extended wine tour. Napa, Sonoma, Paso Robles. Landon says they roam for months. Isn't that dreamy or handy, I thought, but held back. Well, I look forward to meeting your guy properly. I said, 7:45, right. Yes. And Dad, dress sharp. Landon prizes strong first impressions. After she hung up, I stood in my modest kitchen, surveying the home I'd labored to keep. The fridge bore Evelyn's childhood drawings, college grad photos, memories of a life rooted in love over luxury. Morning light showed every worn spot, where I'd picked practical over fancy due to budget. I spent the afternoon prepping like for a review. My one fine suit, navy, bought for Evelyn's graduation, hung from the closet while I debated its suitability for the Golden Plate. The material was good, but 6 years old with my careful stitch on a pocket rip. In the bathroom mirror, I assessed myself harshly. 60 years old, hair more silver than brown, face etched by outdoor labor and solo parenting stress. My hands showed scars from mechanical years, calluses of honest toil, not the polished ones of a spreadsheet handler. I shaved meticulously with the electric razor Evelyn gifted last Christmas. She'd said it gave a pro look, and I'd taken it amused. Knowing she fretted over me in role reversal, the suit fit decently. Though odd after months in work gear, I'd stayed fit despite age, but formal attire highlighted how rarely I dressed up lately. My social world centered on block cookouts and Evelyn's birthdays, where ease trumped looks. As I fixed my tie, I planned questions without prying. How long had he known he wanted Evelyn? What were his future goals? Did he grasp her nature, valuing loyalty and kindness over riches? But beneath polite probes, deeper ones loomed. Why rush the marriage? Why the convenient absent parents? And chiefly, did he love my daughter for herself or what she symbolized? I found myself thinking tactically. Like my military days, survey the field, spot risks, map routes to the goal. The goal tonight was clear. Grasp what man aimed to wed my daughter. The dresser photo showed Evelyn at 9, gap-toothed and beaming with a fish from our upstate camping. She'd demanded to bait her hook alone. I can handle it. Dad, she'd declared stubbornly. That spirit aided her in school and her design career, but left her open to those mistaking her kindness for gullibility, her trust for frailty. I grabbed keys and wallet, checking the texted address. The train ride downtown would let me steady myself, ready for whatever Landon proved to be the smug poster or perhaps a worthy man in person. Outside, January wind nipped my face as I locked up. Mrs. Ramirez waved from her window, and I returned it, thankful for neighbors who'd guarded Evelyn and me over years. Bonds wealth couldn't purchase. As I headed to the station, I approached this dinner like past overseas hazards, vigilant, ready, but optimistic. The cab pulled from the curb on Michigan Avenue, leaving me before the Golden Plate's grand front. Chandeliers sparkled through tall windows. A doorman in white gloves motioned elegantly inside. I adjusted my tie last time, sensing the cost of every inch here. Inside, marble floors mirrored soft amber lights. Diners spoke softly. Outfits worth my mortgage, the hostess, young with flawless stance and a smile lacking warmth, eyed me appraisingly. Everett party, I said steadily. She guided me past tables where men sported watches like mini suns, women in jewels glittering per move. I spotted Evelyn instantly, her face brightening as she waved from a corner booth. Beside her, Landon checked his phone with the ease of one used to making others wait. Dad. Evelyn rose as I neared, but Landon stayed seated till the end, standing lazily as if bothered. Mr. Everett. His grip was weak, curt, just polite enough. Evelyn's shared so much about you. His tone implied too much for comfort. Likewise, I replied, settling opposite. Congrats on the engagement. Landon's smile showed teeth without heat. Thanks. We're thrilled for our future. He beckoned the waiter imperiously. Tonight's wine is the 2010 Cabernet. Bottle service. No asking preferences. The waiter bowed and vanished. So, Mr. Everett. Landon leaned back, fingers tented like interviewing. Evelyn says you work manually. Must be fulfilling. The pause on fulfilling spoke volumes. I'm a mechanic, I said plainly. I mend what's broken. How quaintly direct. His laugh edged sharp. I'm in investments myself. Asset handling. Big risk plays. Another realm. I guess. Evelyn squeezed my hand across the table. Dad restored his bike from scratch. It's gorgeous. A classic Harley from the 80s. Motorcycles. Landon checked his Rolex showily. Risky pursuit at your age. Know though eras vary on sensible dangers. The wine came, and Landon did a showy tasting while the sommelier waited. He approved as granting favor, then signaled our glasses filled without checking if we wanted it. Evelyn's been describing your charming Chicago suburb, he went on, swirling his glass. So genuine, very blue collar. I bet the community vibe offsets other shortcomings. What shortcomings? The query escaped before I halted it. Landon's grin widened. Oh, nothing particular. Just once you taste certain lifestyles, simpler joys pale, but that's generational. I believe your era prizes different stuff, such as, I prompted, old school ideals, I suppose. Toil for toil's sake over smart work, sticking to obsolete notions instead of modern shifts. He waved around the place. Spots like this, your generation might call wasteful, while we see experience investments. Evelyn fidgeted. Landon. Dad enjoys fine things too. Of course, Landon cut in slickly. No offense meant, just varied views on worth and triumph. He faced me. Tell me, Mr. Everett, what's your top accomplishment? The trap was elegant. Boast. He'd belittle, humble. He'd see limited drive. Raising Evelyn. I said, noble. He nodded, eyes calculating. Solo parenting must have been tough. Scarce means. Probably. No surprise Evelyn values proper provision now. The words landed like strikes. Each targeted. Evelyn's cheeks reddened. Landon, please. What I'm noting your dad's efforts. With me here, struggle days end. Evelyn merits luxuries. Don't you agree, Mr. Everett? I clutched my napkin till knuckles paled. Around us, crystal tinkled on china, a wealth symphony suddenly stifling. The waiter brought menus, but Landon dismissed him. Actually, check please. The waiter placed the leather folder by Landon's elbow discreetly. Through candle glow, I watched my daughter's fiancé scrutinize the bill dramatically, brows rising in fake shock. Well now, he said, pushing it slowly to me. Tradition says the bride's dad covers dinner. The amount sank my gut. $400, over my monthly food budget. Landon, no need, Evelyn started, voice tight. Nonsense, dear. He dismissed her without looking, eyes on me like a hunter. Your dad wants to back our engagement. Right. Mr. Everett, silence tautened like a strained wire. Nearby diners chatted on, blind to our unfolding wreck. A lady laughed brightly at the next table, sound carefree in the warm air. Of course, Landon pressed, reclining smugly. Your era might miss modern etiquette. In my crowd, this is standard. My hands shook, reaching for my wallet, the leather worn from years, a laborer's holder never carrying such sums. I felt Evelyn watching, face pale in candlelight. Dad, no. I laid my card on the check, hoping it cleared. It's okay, princess. Landon's smile victorious. Splendid. I value a man grasping protocol. He scrolled his phone, as if my disgrace forgotten. You know, Mr. Everett. Evelyn feared you might disapprove. I assured her adults always mesh. The word adults slapped. The place hummed with affluence. Silver clinks, fabric whispers, easy laughs of insiders. I'd never felt more alien. I believe in respectful treatment, I said measuredly. Respect. Landon glanced up, brows up in feigned puzzlement. I thought I was respectful. After all, I'm letting you uphold customs. Some in my spot might push contemporary ways, but I get letting elders feel relevant. Evelyn's glass quivered in her grasp. Landon, stop. Stop what? Love just chatting with your dad. His tone innocent, eyes sparkling with spite. Unless he's uneasy with frank talk on our backgrounds. The waiter returned my card and slip, I signed shakily. The tip hurtful but needed for staff dignity. $420 total, almost a week's pay. There, Landon said cheerily, as if favoring me. Nothing bonds family like a fine meal, though this exceeds your usual. Mr. Everett. I rose slowly, chair scraping marble loudly in our table's hush. Evelyn looked at me with dawning dread and insight. Thanks for dinner, Landon went on, still seated, grinning. I'm sure Evelyn values her key men harmonizing. The easy viciousness, how he'd engineered my shame while seeming gracious, stole my breath. This wasn't jitters or clumsiness. This was intentional demolition, executed precisely before my daughter. Dad, Evelyn whispered. Rising too, her ring sparkled in candlelight, scattering stars on the cloth. I eyed Landon, lounging confident as one untouched by fallout. His pricey suit, flawless hair, smug look, all screamed privilege. Evelyn, I said softly, we need to discuss. I guided her gently from the table to a quieter nook by the entrance. Behind, Landon stayed at the table, phone engrossed, as if the night a done deal. The nook dim for private talks. Through amber glass, the busy Chicago street hummed. Ordinary folks in ordinary lives, unaware of our drama amid crystal and stone. Dad. Evelyn began, then halted, hands wringing. Princess. I kept gentle, though anger burned my chest. Think hard on how he treated us tonight. She stared at the table, ring catching soft light. Maybe nerves. Impressions matter, and he knows you're vital to me. Was that nerves, I asked quietly? Mocking our suburb, making me pay while pretending favor. Her face flushed, eyes averted. He's from another world. Dad. Different norms. Maybe it felt normal. Evelyn, look here. She lifted her head slowly, and I saw my child again, the one who'd climb my lap when life overwhelmed. A man truly loving you wouldn't shame your dad on purpose. I said, wouldn't scorn your childhood home or dismiss the work feeding you. But I love him, she murmured, like begging, and he claims love for me. I trust you love him, but dear, love needs equal return. I reached over, clasping her hands. I've known his kind. They begin small disrespects, escalate. She stayed silent long, eyeing our linked hands. When she spoke, barely heard. I saw his look at you. Not nerves. Was it no? Honey, not. He's never spoken to me that way, she added fast, as if defending erased the night. Always sweet, attentive, I'm certain. You're lovely, accomplished, compassionate. All he'd craved to claim. The word soured my tongue, but claiming isn't loving. Evelyn, love treasures what you hold dear, not discards it. Tears brimmed her eyes. What if you're correct? What if I've erred badly? The query broke my heart. I recalled her past struggles, wishing to shield every hurt, but knowing she must trust herself. Then you plan next steps, I said plainly, and no whatever. You're supported. Folks love you as you are, never asked to shame your roots. She dabbed eyes with the fine napkin, spotting the cloth. I thought myself savvy, self-reliant. How missed I this? Your heart's pure, believing best in others. Never deem that flaw. I pressed her hands. You merit one honoring your values, not seeing your love as ladder step. Through the nook's partition, Landon at our table, phone chatting animatedly. Posture easy. Sure, a victor. I keep recalling how he spoke of our suburb, Evelyn said gradually, like it's shamed instead of homed. Your mom and I picked that area for good folks caring mutually. You grew amid teachers, firefighters, store owners knowing your name, seeing you mature. Not shameful. I know, she said uncertainly. Do you? Because tonight's talk implied honest labor hides, like hands building your playhouse, teaching tire changes, somehow disgraceful. She glanced to Landon, now watch-checking impatiently. He's likely wondering the delay. Let him. I held steady, though part craved confronting him on respect. This talk's yours, not his. What now? Dad. The query I dreaded and hoped equally. I thought of Amelia's likely counsel. Only you decide, princess. But whatever. I'm here. Doors open always. She nodded. More tears. I love you, Dad. I love you too, honey. Beyond knowing. She rose slowly, smoothing her dress, collecting herself. I should return. He'll want out soon. I stood, resisting hugging her home like childhood hurts. Recall our talk. Okay, trust your gut. It's sharper than thought. We returned to the dining area. Her hand light on my arm. The cab left the golden plate as Chicago's shine faded behind. I slumped on the vinyl seat, every 60 years weighing like winter frost. The driver's radio played gentle jazz, contrasting city horns and sirens. Through fogged glass, I watched the shift, towering glass to brick structures, luxury shops to corner stores and dry cleaners. Sidewalk people changed power suits to work attire and sturdy shoes. My realm, the one Landon mocked all evening. My hand found the chain under my shirt, gripping Amelia's warm ring. 30 years since placing it on her, 20 since removing last. The bedside vow echoed in the cab's quiet. Care for our girl, Knox, shield her from hurters. I thought I grasped then scrapes, teen heartaches, maybe a college lad undervaluing her. Never foresaw Landon, shredding her worth smiling, terming it love. The Lakeshore Drive stretched ahead, lights reflecting like silver nets. Below, the lake flowed dark to the harbor where I'd first landed in Chicago 35 years back. Post-service with just hope and grit. What would you do? Dear, I whispered to the window. Amelia's face in condensation. How guard without losing her. But I knew her reply. Amelia hated bullies, suited or ragged. When Evelyn was 7 and Tommy Jenkins yanked her braids, Amelia strode to that playground, lecturing Tommy on respect till he apologized wide-eyed. Not threats, but moral force's power. The cab veered into familiar ground. Row houses with fire escapes zigzagging, tiny yards growing veggies and flowers alike. Mrs. Ramirez's window glowed yellow, her soap scoring the neighborhood's evening rhythm. I pondered Evelyn's alcove face, her surety cracking as I urged seeing Landon's acts. She was noticing, condescension as charm, control as concern, but noticing and accepting differed, especially heart-invested. My chest squeezed, replaying the night's shames. Landon dismissing our suburb as cute, like my raising Spada exhibit. The cruel push of that check, knowing its toll, knowing I'd cover for Evelyn. But beyond cash, the message old, feeble, obsolete, values outdated. Daughter love mere hurdle. You're mistaken, kid. I told passing lights, utterly wrong. The cab slowed to my street. Trees hinting spring buds. Porch lights pooled warm welcomes. Mr. Fletcher across putting trash out for pickup. Regular folks in regular lives, building solid with hands and hearts. I'd spent 25 years here seeing kids grow, aiding neighbors through splits, layoffs, joys. These Landon deemed inferior educators, fixers, merchants valuing ties over balances. The ring pressed my chest as the cab stopped home. Through front window, the living room where I'd taught Evelyn shoe tying, watched cartoons, built forts over furniture, where Amelia and I dreamed futures, where I solo raised when hers shortened. I vowed safeguarding. I told the empty seat, that guy's risky. Amelia, not fists, but worse, wants possession, not love. The meter stopped. I paid cash with tip for his family. As he drove off, I stood eyeing the house sheltering 3 honest generations. Tomorrow I'd call Evelyn. We'd discuss deeply what she saw, its future meaning. I wouldn't dictate, but ensure choice comprehension. And if Landon upped this conflict he'd begun, he'd learn underestimating work-clothed men brought repercussions. I climbed steps slowly, key turning in the ever-open lock for needy souls seeking refuge, advice, or meal and ear. Inside waited quietly, rich in memories and next promises. 8 weeks passed since that awful dinner. 8 weeks of strained calls and cautious talks. Evelyn queried respect, bonds, love versus ownership. Each chat agitated Landon more, eager to reclaim control. An upscale engine roar cut the quiet Chicago evening, door slamming hard. Through my window, I saw Landon storm the path, costly coat flapping like war banner. He didn't knock, he hammered. I opened to him on my porch. Polished facade cracked ugly. Without ask. He shoved past to the living room, eyes scorning modest seats and family pics. "We need words," he said, whirling. "Now." I shut the door deliberately, unlocked. About don't feign ignorance. His voice knife-sharp. Evelyn's changed post-dinner. Questioning, doubting. I know you've tainted her against me. Have I stayed even? Watching him pace caged in my space. What do you claim I said? You called me rude, family-hating. He halted, fists tight. You made her doubt our whole thing. I shared observations. No more, no less. His laugh harsh, fragile. Sure, doting dad routine, touching. He neared, height for intimidation. But here's your task. Call her tomorrow. Apologize. Say you erred on me, overreacted, or the query lingered. Landon's face reddened, mask fully off, or learn permanent daughter cutoff. I eyed his face, spoiled fury, underlying panic. A man unused to know, unchallenged. In his realm, cash and rank bought all. "Young man," I said softly, "you're overstepping." "Am I?" He waved his phone like arms. "One call to Evelyn now. Say you threatened. Jealousy breaking us. Who'll she trust, loving fiancé or bitter lone dad? Is this your play?" My tone made him pause. First since barging. Doubt crossed his face. I stood still, hands loose, but stance backed him half-step. "You don't get it," he said louder. "I've toiled hard for my spot. Won't let some aged fixer wreck it." "And what have you built? Success? Wealth? Tomorrow?" He flailed at my humble room. "Stuff you wouldn't grasp. True wins. Not this. This." I gestured to Evelyn's childhood mantelpics. Is a daughter knowing unconditional love? This is 25 years of stories. Hurts, lessons, mushy trash. But his voice softened. World runs on power, cash, smart use, maybe yours does. I shifted slightly, barring deeper house. But Evelyn's from elsewhere, character over accounts. He sweated despite cool, shirt clinging. She'll pick me, ultimately, my life over this, over you. Will she? I asked calmly. Lately, she grasps provision versus value. For a second, I thought he'd strike. Body tensed, fists balled. But instinct, perhaps my calm or depth sense, restrained him. Not done, he said weakly. Evelyn's mine. She chose me. Not this, not you. Evelyn's no object. Boy. Belongs to none. He headed out, then turned. You don't know my deal. Actually, I said quietly, I do. After he left, I stood hearing his car speed into night. Through walls, misses, Ramirez's TV, Fletcher's dog barking yard something. Normal from normals in normal lives, but this felt abnormal. I lifted the phone for Evelyn, then replaced needed in person. Next afternoon, I stood outside Evelyn's downtown apartment. Small lily bouquet, Amelia's favorite, in my scarred hands. The doorman knew me, nodding as he buzzed up. Send him up. Evelyn's voice warm but guarded through speaker. The elevator to floor 16 let me sort thoughts. How tell your daughter her fiancé threatened at home, balance truth with her choice freedom. She opened pre-knock, struck by her weariness. Circles shadowed eyes, smile strained. Dad. She stepped aside. What brings you these for you? I offered lilies, her face softening on meaning. And to talk. Her place lovely, clean lines, chosen hues showing design skill, but sterile versus our home, fancy pieces distanced over invited. Water these, she said, kitchen bound. Coffee nice, princess. She returned with mugs. We sat on her modern couch. Pretty, but stiff. She curled legs like childhood. And for instant, my little girl, I want you knowing. I started carefully. Whatever with Landon, I love you fully. Your joy matters most. She nodded, eyes cautious. But also, Landon visited last night. Her mug halted mid-lift. He what angry? Said you'd questioned. Doubted. Wanted me calling you apologizing, saying I misjudged him. I stayed factual, refused. He threatened cutting my access. Evelyn set mug with shakes. I can't believe I knew upset. But your house, how acted home last night, quiet long, staring coffee, stirred, mad. Said tough workday. But now thinking, she looked horrified. Dad, sorry. Never thought no apology yours. I leaned, clasping hands. But I worry for you, how he spoke of you, like owned, not loved. Tears brimmed, been thinking restaurant words, respect, treating values. She wiped cheek. Never mocked our suburb like that night. Never shamed my origins. How feel on that mixed, pained. She hugged self. I love him. Dad. Truly. But the man I loved wouldn't threaten my dad. Wouldn't isolate family. Folks skip big controls at start, I said softly. Begin minor critique friends. Guilt family time. Doubt judgment. She nodded. Tears free. He has small notes on choices. Dress for events. Friends unsophisticated. She eyed me, realizing how missed. Loved him. Wanted best belief. I neared, hugging like when world loomed large. Not weakness, dear. That's you. Believer in folks. Their promise. But if mistake, if tossing good from fear, I recalled Amelia. Protection vow. But sometimes protection meant backstep. Her strength find. Only you answer. I said. But no, true love never splits from dear ones. Love skips such demands. She sobbed softly on my shoulder as afternoon light poured windows, lighting fancy goods suddenly lesser than father-daughter comfort. Don't know what do, she whispered. No need all today, but recall, choice whatever. I'm here, door open, love unchanged. She pulled back, eyes red but clear. Love you too, Dad. Immensely. I know, princess. No. We sat as light waned. Father-daughter rebuilt on truth and endless love. Whatever next. Together. May sunshine sifted through blooming trees of evergreen gardens. Dappled shadows on white chairs in neat rows. I stood at reception edge, tugging jacket. Same navy from Evelyn's graduation, now outshone by designer attire. Guests clustered, champagne glasses sparkling like strewn gems. I knew none beyond Evelyn's college pals waving politely across lawn. Rest, Landon's circle slick cuts, pricey watches, talks of markets and coastal getaways. The right was lovely. Evelyn shone in her mom's reworked gown, lace Amelia picked 40 years back, blending old and new. When asked who gives this woman, I stood proud despite gut knot, knowing reception likely held barbs. "Excuse me, sir." A cameraman neared. "Step aside, family shots." I backed, watching Landon pose with groomsmen, his grin blade-like spotting my retreat. This his turf now, his terms. Each move reminded my tolerance, needed nuisance handled. Dad. Evelyn at my elbow, glowing despite eye tension. Meet Landon's school buddies. But as we neared, Landon appeared smoothly. "Dear, photographer needs more of you. Your dad can mingle solo." She paused, glancing us. But I wanted trust. Plenty mixed time later, his waist hand possessive, guiding her off pre-protest. Alone amid strangers, I roamed tables, reading cards till my name. Table 14, distant from head, between Evelyn's old great-aunt and unknown pair. Message obvious. Kin. Scarcely. "You must be Evelyn's dad." A pearled woman offered manicured hand. "I'm Caroline, Landon's co-worker. He's shared much on you." Tone implied unflattering tales, all positive, hope. I neutral. Her laugh chime-like in gale. "Oh, Landon's clever observing people." Reception flowed like staged play. Servers glided trays, glasses refilled pre-empty. Chats easy assurance of wealth to wealth. I reached seat. Greeted table Aunt Ruth hand-squeezed warm. Henderson's kind, known Evelyn since youth, amid true kin friends. I eased briefly. Then Landon approached. Predator smile set. "Mr. Everett." Everything meets standards, query barbed in velvet. Table talk hushed, sensing undertow. "All beautiful. I careful. You Evelyn did splendid." Well, Evelyn had precise elegance ideas, achieved sophistication. He paused, eyes sweeping opulence. "Though different from your norm, suppose." Aunt Ruth napkin gripped tight, Henderson's glanced uneasy. "Different good," I said. "Absolutely. Spice of life." Landon behind my chair as I sat for meal. Just shared with colleagues on diverse routes here today. Intriguing sociology. I lowered to chair. Hands on arms when felt yank. Chair jerked back as weight committed, crashing me to polished floor. Impact winded me. Jacket tore shoulder. Around. Talk died at noise. "Oops," Landon said, voice clear and sudden still. Seems someone's wobbly. Age hits all. But eyes triumphed. Mask off. Maybe comfier ground level anyway. Your place is on the floor. Gasps nearby tables. Aunt Ruth half rose. Horror on wrinkles. Henderson stared shocked at decency breach. Across area. Evelyn's distressed cry as she saw bouquet dropped rushing scene. I lay heartbeat. Feeling 60 years. In 100-witness silence to veiled cruelty. Through blooming trees, spring sun dappled tables cheerfully, blind to ugliness below. Behind, rustle fancy cloth, familiar voice, Nora, hurry. So late, latecomers through garden arch, elegant pair travel rushed. Man moved military despite civvies, scanning with trained eyes awkward quiet. Spread guests, groundman aided by daughter. "Son, there." A woman waved relief near entrance. Flight delay worried. But Silas Hale halted fully, locked on distressed figure. Shoulders hold, even pained. Sparked deep combat memory. Can't be, he murmured, leaving wife Nora unexplained. I dusted torn jacket when heard purposeful steps. Military stride, though dress shoes, of decades' authority. Sir. Voice cut murmur uneasy guests. Sir. Really you, I looked from tie straightening to face unseen 20 years. Aged but clear. Silver temples, lined features. Eyes same sharp recall from desert camps. Night watches. Silas. Name slipped. Soldier Hale. His face lit recognition deeper. Bone deep thanks of life saved. Unforgotten. Sergeant Everett. Can't believe. What here? Around. Guests leaned, sensing theater unknowing source. Landon froze. Wind souring confusion as Dad neared humiliated man. My daughter's wedding. I soft. Glancing Evelyn watching reunion amazed. Silas' eyes widened on wild coincidence. Gaze to Landon. Back me. Implications reshaping day. Your daughter. He started. Stopped as hit like shell. Voice rose, carrying reception like troop address in battle. Ladies, gentlemen, need all grasp something. Tone commanded focus. Talk stopped. Servers paused. Quartet lowered bows. This man, Silas went on, hand reverent on my shoulder. Sergeant Knox Everett, U.S. Army. In May 2004, forward base Delta, Iraq. Rebels overran night patrol. Nora at side, knowing tale retold often. Never expecting hero meet. Eyes understood looking husband to lifesaver. Wounded. Pinned under fire. Silas voice emotion 20 years untouched. This hero risked all dragging me safe. Carried me 400 yards through shots to evac. Gasps crowd, heads turned me anew. Reframing witnessed, ground man no blue-collar shame. Decorated vet, honor blood-earned courage. Recommended him Silver Star. Silas thick pride emotion. Valor fire, saving comrade when sane sought shelter. Landon's face pale as sand. Mouth silent as misstep scale dawned. Mechanic tormented war hero. Courage beyond his grasp, he never mentioned. Evelyn whispered. Voice in stunned hush. Tears cheeks as eyed me fresh. Dad never said, just duty. I cut uneasy spotlight. Any would same. No, sir, not any. Silas cracked emotion. You saved me home to Nora. See son mature. Walk him aisle today. He turned Landon. Eyes father disappointment deeper than yell. Reception buzzed whispers as processed reveal. Glasses forgotten tables as stared torn jacket man carrying host dad safe under fire. From beside, Evelyn hand squeezed fierce pride, love. Welcome home, Sergeant. Silas formal. Snapping attention civvies. Soldier honoring leader last. Silence like breath held till Landon forward. Face pale resolute. Confident hunter gone. Young man facing character ruin. Voice broke. Cleared throat. Retried. To mic band used announcements. Need address all. Guests shifted uneasy as adjusted mic trembling. Evelyn nearer me. Arm grip tight apprehension. What happened tonight? What I did inexcusable. Words carried area, amplified all here. Months treated this man disrespect contempt. Just learned why not wrong. Despicable. Nora Hale hands mouth. Knowing son pain. Silas rigid. Waiting if raised boy could brave writing. My dad told you Sergeant Everett saved him Iraq. Landon's voice strengthened forcing on. What skipped months treated war hero beneath me. Because mechanic, Lives suburb, not downtown. Too insecure, stupid, see prejudices. Table 7, Hummin whispered companion. I caught bits chair pull. Deliberate shame. Mocked neighborhood. Work. Values. Forced expensive dinner watch bill struggle. Landon's confession pained each. Tonight. Yanked chair watched fall. Said place floor. Gasps reception. Guests eyed me sympathy outrage. Photographer camera unsure document wedding protocol break. Why all Landon raw self-loathing? Fear. Fear never matched dad's service. Fear Evelyn see I'm not half either man. So tore down one deserving honor respect. He turned me direct, ditching Mike Hartspeak. Mr. Everett, Sergeant Everett, profoundly sorry. You saved my dad. I repaid debt humiliating before daughter. No expect forgive. Ask chance earn, area still. Staff stopped. Fixed public pride strip for conscience. Want learn your example. He broke. Become man deserving your family. Protects honors matters. Not attacks fear. Tears Evelyn cheeks, watching husband bear flaws before all. Nora to Silas side. Parents watching son heartbreak hope. I forward. Feeling Amelia's ring chest. Vow daughter protect. But protection meant teaching love her right. Son, I said. Voice clear silence. Takes more guts public admit errors than private make. Now matters not done, but forward choose. Relief his features as I hand extended. Pulled embrace apology earned. Family means support all. Good and shortfalls. Welcome our family. I quiet his ear. Thanks, loving daughter enough become her worthy. Silas neared precision. Eyes warm father whose son learned key lessons. Proud. Landon, this man I raised. New inside. Nora joined circle. Tears free embracing Evelyn me. Sorry endured. Grateful son, strength right it. Photographer camera hesitant. Should I yes? Evelyn firm. Arm my waist. Hand Landon's. Document this. Moment family truly started. As applause slow built crescendo. Felt Amelia beside sure as stand. Daughter chose well. Not past man. But becoming one. Band resumed. Pairs dance floor. Garden blooming trees. Spring sang growth second chances. If you enjoyed this heartwarming tale of redemption and family bonds, we'd love to hear from you. Share your impressions in the comments below. What moved you most about Knox's journey or Landon's transformation? Let us know your thoughts. Feel free to ask questions too, perhaps about the characters' futures or how such stories reflect real life. We're here to discuss and exchange ideas with you. Your interactions help build our community stronger. To dive into the next captivating story, simply click the box on the left. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate every view, like, and subscription. Until next time.